Hi guys, welcome to my Midlife Capers. I got a question from a subscriber on YouTube, and initially I was just going to write a response in the comments, but I figured maybe some of you guys would be interested in hearing what I have to say about it. But I figured maybe you guys would be interested in the answer, so I thought I'd do a video. I'm going to have to apologize because there might be some outside noise. I'm in a very rural spot, and yet for some reason it is incredibly noisy. I have never been in a campground that's quite this noisy. So hopefully it won't disrupt us too much. So anyway, let me read the question and then I'll get into my thoughts. I should say you did take a lot of risk by making this decision, but I definitely believe it's worth it. The experience you have in this journey will teach you a lot of things, even though I'm sure you've seen a lot in your 50 years of life. Do you always believe in realizing dreams that you always have, or is it something that you've learned recently? Well, first of all, I'll say, yeah, 50 years of life, actually 53 years of life, have taught me a lot. I've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of hard lessons. I'm kind of the embodiment of that line from the Chicks song, Long Way Around. I never seem to do it like anybody else. I just always have chosen kind of the harder way to learn things and do things. That hasn't always been necessarily the best way, but it's just kind of the way that I end up doing things. So yeah, I mean, I have learned a lot. And the reality is I'm still learning every day. Even though I did a lot of research on this and I planned and prepared, as you'll see in the video on my maintenance and repairs, there were a lot of things that I didn't anticipate, a lot of things that I really couldn't anticipate. And it became a much bigger ordeal than I thought it would. And really, what it comes down to is being as prepared as you can be for something, and then having enough adaptability to figure out how to adjust and tack in your course so that you can still make things work or get to the next thing if that one doesn't work. And I guess that's kind of a good lead into the question about realizing your dreams. Do I think that every dream can and should be realized? No, it's a lot of dreams turned out to be fantasies, and well, that's okay. I mean, you know, fantasies are what push you to think bigger and move out of your comfort zone and believe that other things are possible from besides what is directly in front of you. The reality is that not everything is going to work out. Not everything is meant to work out. And discernment involves assessing where you are, assessing where you want to go, and the resources you have available. And I'm not just talking about money or supplies and that kind of thing, but your resources as far as your knowledge base and your ability to adapt and learn as you go through experiences. All of those things are what help you as you pursue your dreams. And it's not just ambition, or it's not just a gung-ho attitude or fearlessness. Those things are helpful, but they also can get you into trouble if you don't balance them with reason and cautiousness, and just the ability to read the road. And so yeah, I don't think that every dream should be pursued, but I also think that if you have a dream that keeps coming up, something that keeps calling to you, that you absolutely should figure out a way to make it happen. Um, I have done that in a variety of ways in my life. Um, my son was born with a congenital heart defect, and he had 3 heart surgeries before he was 2. And so I struggled a lot, especially in those early years, just to survive and make sure he survived. It was a scary time, but I always knew that I was meant to do more than that. I was meant to do more than what I was doing just to get by. And so when he started kindergarten, I went back to school and finished my bachelor's and got my master's and started work on my PhD too. I still have never finished that just because it doesn't feel like it's the right thing to do. Again, that speaks to the dreams. Yeah, it is a dream to be able to have those credentials and have those letters after my name, but ultimately, I don't have the bandwidth for it anymore, and I am doing what I love. I'm doing what I was meant to do, and a PhD is not going to enable me to do that any better. It's not going to allow me to charge more or make more money, get more clients, because it's not it's not necessary to be able to do what I'm doing. But going back to the pursuing of my dreams, it was hard. It took a lot of work and support from my family to be able to do that. I needed help with my son at times because I had classes at night. I was working full time while going to school full time and raising my son alone. So that it was a hard dream to pursue. When I got out of school and I went to work, I worked for a publisher for a while, and then the economy tanked and a lot of people in my industry were laid off, and finding another job in that field was very hard. That's when I went to school to get my PhD, and in the middle of it I had surgery on my ankle and was in rehab for a while on that and had to put my school on hold. And in the meantime, I got a job offer to work with someone in my field again. And I pursued that for a while until it just wasn't working, and our paths were diverging, and I knew something else was meant for me. And that's when I started my own company, and I went out to California. That wasn't necessarily entirely part of starting my own business, but it was where I wanted to be. And so simultaneously, I was launching a new business, and I ran away from home after 40 some odd years to a new place. And so my dreams were, again, really big and really complicated. But at the time, they were the right move. And, I've had to adapt and adjust. I was in LA for the amount of time that I felt I was supposed to be there. And then I moved to somewhere else. And I am constantly pursuing a dream of sorts. And I'm constantly moving into a new phase of what I think my life is meant to offer me. And a lot of people would look at that and say, that's crazy, or you're taking big risks. And yeah, sometimes I am. But so far, I've not taken any risk that was not the right one. And they all paid off in one way or another, whether that was advancing me to the next stage that gets me closer to something I'm supposed to do, or um, moving me out of something I'm not supposed to be doing any longer. Because sometimes that's the case. You are in a place for a time, and you're meant to do something for a time, and then you have different different opportunities or different areas to grow. And if you stay in those areas because you're afraid to try something new or afraid to step out of your comfort zone, you may miss out on the thing that's really going to give you fulfillment in your life and maybe change the lives of other people in the process. So I know that sounds kind of lofty, but it doesn't have to be a big thing, like going out on the road and living out of a camper for 7 or 8 months and traveling around the country. It doesn't have to mean going to Hollywood to become a big star, or becoming an activist and literally changing the world. There are things that you can do right where you are that can make a huge difference in your life and the lives of others. And the dreams don't have to be huge; they can be small, but pursuing them does matter. And yeah, I guess that's really all I should say about it. I am excited about the next phase and what all of this big adventure is unfolding for me. There is a book at the end of this. I'm chronicling my whole journey, not because it's necessarily about the book, other than the fact that I'm doing research so I can create characters that I hope will resonate with people. It's fiction where this is real life. And I'm really excited about getting that done. That's probably the biggest dream that I've been carrying with me, and that has been in my hip pocket for years and years and years, because when I first started in this field and I was working with other people and editing their books and helping them get published, I was constantly asked, so when are you going to write your book, or are you going to write a book? And for a long time I said, I don't know that I have a book in me. I think my mission is to help other people publish theirs. But I just wasn't giving myself permission to be that and have that. I reached a point, I guess it was probably not until about 7 or 8 years ago, to actually call myself a writer. And even then, I was still cautious about that and wasn't sure what way that would manifest. And so it took some time before I could really have the courage to put words to paper and claim them as my own. And I think that's part of why I am the way I am with my clients. I am very respectful of their journey and the courage it takes to birth something creative and then entrust it to someone else for criticism and for altering. That's a really scary thing to do, and I hold my responsibility in that regard very highly. And so and it's because I understand my own journey on that. But now I'm finally at the point where not only do I have within me the longing to put my creativity out there, but I also am carving out space for that, because even when I was wanting to do things, and I had ideas and started toying with them, and, you know, getting some words on paper. I never really gave myself the space to really pursue it and let it happen. I was always too bogged down with my other clients' work and other things in life. And I reached a point when my dad died, and I was kind of at loose ends in a lot of areas that I thought, you know, if I'm ever going to do this, this is the time. And so that's when I started looking for some way to get around this country and do what I'm doing. So I hope that you will stick with me. I hope that some of you have stayed through till the end, because I know this is a long video and I have rambled a little bit. And ultimately, I hope that you guys will check out my book when it comes. I'm hoping maybe by the end of the year, but we'll have to see how it goes. You know, the creative process is something you can't put a clock on, and but I am hoping that that will happen, and I will definitely keep you guys posted about it. But hey, go pursue some of your own dreams, and I wish you the best of luck in it. Thanks.